with a 2-minute opening statement. Starting with the 2-minute opening statement, we have Bill Pomerleau.
Thank you. We're at an interesting time in student government. It's been said that one of the causes of the fall of the Soviet Union was a deep divide between government and the citizens. And it appears as if student government has fallen into that syndrome to some degree. What is absolutely mandatory and crucial for this organization that we have is to have an open and direct relationship with every member of the student body. When students don't know what we're considering or even who the representative is, there's a fundamental flaw in the system. I, with my running mate, Derek Mitchell, have formulated a comprehensive platform that will do 2 things. 1, address the most crucial student issues affecting all of us, dining prices, parking issues, professors, and 2, foster open relations with students so that what we do matters to them and what they think matters to us. Student government is like a workers' union. Without the workers, there is no union, and without students, there is no student government. Tonight, I'll present our ideas, and I will leave you for now with this note. It's all too common during campaigns that candidates run a campaign on simply stating what is wrong. Tonight, when you listen to the candidates, vice presidential and presidential, remember that holding office is not about pointing out what's wrong. It's about fixing those wrongs. And that begins with a plan and having the willpower, the knowledge, and the experience to carry that out. Thank you.
Thank you. Up next, we have Sean Rankin with an opening 2-minute statement.
Good evening, everyone. Good to see you all. Glad you all could make it. I'm Sean Rankin. I'm Senator of Business, Public Policy, and Health. As you may or may not know, I'm running for the vice presidential position. And as vice president, it would be my job to reside and conduct the Senate meetings. If elected and such, it would be my intent to be a medium of communication that created an efficient network of conversation and ideas. I came into Senate this year a student who wanted to change student problems through Senate. To accomplish this, I quickly realized that in order to affect the student body efficiently, Senate needed to be changed. It needed to add students back onto its agenda. I've been a Umaine student a lot longer than I've been a Umaine senator, and if elected, I intend on fighting for students' interests on Senate, not being a senator who decides what student interests are. To me, the specifications for a vice president are more than just running a good meeting. It is the ability to perceive how the body is excelling and support it. It is determining what the Senate is doing wrong, internally and externally, in order to meet the students' expectations better. It's about finding new approaches and new solutions to old problems while utilizing the full potential of Senate. It's about coordinating support and being persistent in the enhancement of the student body, Senate, and student atmosphere. It's about being a strong leader who is committed to help leading the fight in big issues that serve the students and attest to our commitment to you. At the present moment, I am working with several state representatives to lower in-state tuition in the Umaine system. On November 23rd, State Representative Gary Moore and myself submitted concept legislation to the reviser of statutes in Augusta that would in fact serve to lower costs in the Umaine system.
Time.
Thank you.
All right, based on a decision by the FEPC early on, we will start with Bill Rankin addressing the first question first. And that question is, what do you see as the most important duty of the vice president?
Sean Rankin.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Sean
Okay.
Rankin.
Great.
Apologies.
What was the question exactly again?
What do you see as the most important duty of the vice president?
That's a great question, and I appreciate you asking that. As vice president, I feel that it is first to be the vice president of the student body, and second, it is to be the leader of Senate. And as vice president of the student body, it is important to stand up and be strong for the issues that the student body needs change for themselves and to better the community from which they come from. Second, it is to be a strong leader within Senate and to ensure that Senate is working properly and functioning correctly and efficiently. Thank you.
Same question for Bill Pomerleau.
Obviously, for me, the most important role is the role of vice president over president of the Senate. you're elected to the position of vice president, and the reason why you were elected is for your views and to represent students. You're not elected to monkey with rubber stamp that someone could just read a book and learn. It's about the ideals you have, the leadership skills you have, and bringing them to the powers to be, and letting people know that you're dissatisfied with the current situation. That is the most important part of the vice presidency, and is to work in conjunction with the president to see that student interests are represented.
Thank you. All right, for the next question, we'll start with Bill Pomerleau. How will your leadership background help you to lead the Student Senate?
Pomerleau. It's okay.
Pomerleau.
I've been at the University of Maine for 3 years. I've been in student government for 2. On a number of occasions, I've had to deal with administrators, with faculty, with members of the town council, with state legislators, trying to look out for student interests, promoting certain legislation that would look out for our interests. At the same time, my leadership in the Student Senate as President Pro Tem is vital in a number of roles. 1, in helping to formulate policy, 2, in running the meetings, both of which are very, very vital to the position in which I'm currently running. As far as running a meeting, I have over 2 years approximately of experience with parliamentary procedure. I've become a student of parliamentary procedure, at the same time maintaining leadership.
Thank you. Same question, Sean Rankin.
Coming in to Senate, I have I started in high school and currently have been working with legislation and legislators to affect my community when I was at home and in high school, and in college to affect college and Umaine in the best way that I can. What I feel is important is I am new to the Senate here, and my ideas are new and very much different. And I think that is important to leading Senate to the next level, a level that is more. Thank you.
All right, next question, starting with Sean Rankin. How will you empower the Student Senate to produce quality ideas and goals?
I think it's important to, quality ideas and goals are something that need to come from the students. And students need to become more involved within Senate. Senate has got into a stage of repetition where we are not reaching out to the student body as well as we should. And so what I would do is help to push Senate to go out and find the issues that the students really need change for them, and to pursue it in Senate and to effectively change on campus.
Thank you. Same question.
As the ultimate body in student government, the General Student Senate makes the ultimate decisions on policy and what is affected. But at the same time, the executives aren't completely void of power to pass resolutions whatsoever. They have the ability to sponsor things. And at the same time, they can know what things concern students, what problems exist that needs to be dealt with. And they can encourage senators to go out and talk with people. They can encourage senators to support something. They can encourage them to go out to a rally or to talk to a certain person. It's all about, for the executives, talking to students, taking the available means to affect things, and then using it.
Thank you. Next question. What do you view as the biggest problem currently facing Student Senate?
That's a very complex question. I can't nail it down to one. I think there are several very important problems. The rising costs of dining are getting, in my opinion, a little ridiculous. The cost of textbooks, I know, are a major concern for students. I wish to address those and inform students on how textbooks actually work. I worked at the bookstore for 3 years, so I can add something with that. At the same time, there are issues with professor evaluations, which is one of the major planks of the Mitchell-Pomerleau campaign. Bringing them publicly available so that students will be able to see the quality of teachers they have for the increasing cost of education they pay every single year. Things of that nature, and including parking as well, issues for parking. We want to have a campus beautification fund whereby parking ticket revenue will be rediverted to this fund. And then that can go, students will vote, and they will vote on which parts of campus they wish to beautify. All of these things are very important problems and issues to be solved.
Thank you. Same question, Mr. Rankin.
I think I agree with Bill on this. There are a lot of problems at Umaine, but I think the biggest problem, or a lot of problems that students aren't having addressed. And I think the biggest problem is having those issues addressed in an efficient manner. And I think that comes from having an efficient Senate that really goes out and makes change in the community. They go down to Augusta and they lobby. They sit down with people of importance and they fight in numbers for what needs to happen and is necessary to inflict change.
Thank you. Okay, next question. What experience with true parliamentary procedure do you have? Yes.
Starting my freshman year, I started going to Model State. I was sent there from my school, and in Model State, you get a very intensive lesson throughout a period of about 12 weeks in parliamentary procedure. I joined my student council that same year, and went up through. I sat on my town board of management, as well as I attended a 2-week course seminar in Washington, D.C., where I participated and learned the fundamentals of parliamentary procedure. Thank you.
I've had 2 years of experience with parliamentary procedure. As I said before, I've become practically a student of it. Some people think I actually sleep with Robert's Rules at night. It's not true. I have helped to rewrite most of the documents that student government has under its possession. I'm a member of the National Association of Parliamentarians, which the requirement to get in is a pretty in-depth entrance exam, which I scored 92% on. Yay for me. And parliamentary procedure permeates all aspects of student government, so it's vital to learn almost all aspects of parliamentary procedure. And as I am currently the chair of the Standing Committee on Policy and Procedure, we take it upon ourselves to make sure that that is adhered to very well. And as President Pro Tem, I try to ensure that.
Thank you. Okay, the next question. What are you going to do to make Senate meetings more student-friendly?
To that degree, it's all a matter of talking to senators beforehand, finding their opinions on things. If there's a hotly debated topic, feeling out the senators and trying to make sure the debate is kept at a very reasonable level. The way people carry themselves is another issue that can really only be addressed by the senators themselves. If senators choose to go in with a particular type of unfriendly attitude, there's really no means of which to stop that. So as an executive or as a leader, it's important to sit down with them and say, well, we are student government. We are supposed to be leaders for the students. We shouldn't be resenting the students. And to that degree, that will help create and foster more of a friendly environment in the student senate and in student government as a whole, because right now the sentiment from students towards student government leaves much to be desired, and that can be improved.
Thank you. Mr. Rankin?
I think it's about promoting, in fact, the image that we're just students as well. And I think that when students come to our meetings, they might feel intimidated by how we conduct ourselves. If there's a hot debate, and it's fiery, they might be intimidated by how we conduct ourselves. And I think the leader of Senate, the president of Senate, how he carries himself and how he dictates the meeting has a lot to do with the atmosphere that would arise within a meeting.
Time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question. What do you have to address student government's visibility on campus?
That's a great question. As I said, currently I'm working in Augusta with Gary Moore. This is not something that is that's just going to stop. This is something that we've been discussing for a long period of time. It's something that we're going to carry on for hopefully the next several years. This is a big issue, an issue that I think a lot of students on campus would like to know about and like to become involved in. This idea that I have and in working on it is of hopefully many to come that will bring Umaine students and Senate closer together.
This is my biggest plank for my campaign personally. This is a big problem for me, the visibility of student government. There are a number of things that can be done that will bring a direct relationship with students. State of the Senate given monthly, telling people what we've done, what we intend to address, so that all of the students can see what we're doing. And if they have something they want us to address, they can let us know. So when someone asks you, name 2 things student government has done for you in the last year, they can list a couple things. Having meet and greets where student body can come in and meet with people in student government, senators and executives, that will help get to know them a little bit. Let them know that, yes, we are just students.
Time. Thank you. Okay, next question, moving away from student government a little bit. If you could change one facet of the university to benefit students, what would it be?
Again, it's a black and white question when there's several problems to be addressed. Parking, dining, professor evaluations, all 3 of them are very, very important to all of us. We all feel when we take out $25 to pay another parking ticket, and when that goes off to a fund, that just kind of goes everywhere, and we see it. And we also feel the effects when we go to pick a teacher for a class that we pay money for, and the teacher just doesn't work for us, or her way of teaching doesn't suit our learning ability. And we had no way of analyzing which teachers had what abilities beforehand, because professor evaluations are kept secret. All of these different things are very important to us, and we should be addressing them, and especially with right across the way with dining, with the prices that are getting out of control, in my opinion. Those are all issues that can be addressed. It was sitting down with the right people.
Thank you. Same question?
There are a lot of issues and concerns that all need to be addressed. And as I've stated, the one that I'm really working hard on right now is tuition costs. It's one that I've taken a personal stand on, but it's not the only one that I, as a student and as a senator, are working to change. We can all agree that the prices in dining are getting out of hand. We'd all like that parking spot that we don't have. And it's just important to bring Sen together and really try to make a difference.
Thank you. Going off that a little bit, what issue do you consider most important to students?
I think all students' issues are important, and it's hard to say that just one is important. Every student's concern matters equally to me. I can't say that there's just one, and therefore I think that in order to accomplish that, Senate needs to become a place that can hear all the students' issues and problems and deal with them effectively and efficiently. This is something that I've discussed with many senators, and really am working hard to see changes.
Thank you.
I think you actually can nail it down to one all-encompassing problem, and that's any situation where students have to give out more of this. When we have to pay more of this every single year, that's a problem. When our tuition increases but our level of education, our quality of education doesn't increase accordingly, that's a problem. When dining prices are increasing every single semester, when I could buy a Gatorade at Big Apple for $2, I come here, for $1.25 when I come here and it's $2. That differential is a problem for me. Cost of textbooks is a problem for me, but I know that that's a problem that we really can't help. That's the nature of the industry. Professor evaluations. Although those don't cost money, they ultimately do, because if you get a teacher that doesn't work for you, it costs money.
Thank you. All right, next question. How do you feel that you relate to the student body?
I feel that I relate very well. I have a number of people that I talk to in a course of a day, and I've met a lot of people while I've been in student government. And I try to always look out for student interests. When I talk to people, I'll talk to people randomly going through the library or whatnot. And I enjoy talking to students and hearing their concerns, because ultimately, as we said before, what they say matters. That's why I would go to an Ordo Town Council meeting unexpectedly and clear my entire schedule to tell them that they aren't representing us, because those things are just important. And when you're in a leadership role, doing that is very vital, especially if you are hoping to have any respect from the people that elected you to your office. So I think anything to that nature is very important, and relating to the student body is important. We are students. We all pay the student activity fee for the most part. We all pay tuition and the high rising of costs. You just have to take the position to go forth and say some things need to change, and that's why you're put in that position.
Thank you. Same question?
I'd like to think I relate to the students very well. I'm a new senator, and I became a senator because of the student issues that I was running into and that my friends and everybody that I talked to was running into. These are things that I feel need to be changed, and I feel that my opinions coincide very, very strongly and evenly with the majority of the student body here.
Thank you. Okay, next question. In the event that the president cannot fulfill their duties for whatever reason, what will your reaction be?
I think that it is important for the president to fulfill his obligations or her obligations, and my reaction would be very, very negative. I think that there's no need not to fulfill obligations. It's an office of extreme importance, and by taking the job, you take the responsibilities of the job, and there's no reason not to fulfill them. And by not fulfilling them, I think strong action would need to take place.
Same question.
It would depend on the circumstances a lot. We had a most recent example last semester, and a vice president who just didn't think he was suitable for the job. And if that's a situation, and the vice president doesn't feel he can adequately lead the student body, I think that there should be, and I am currently working on something to put in our documents that say that if a vice president wants to opt out, he has that ability. However, with myself, I would not feel have an aversion whatsoever to stepping up to the position of president, leading the student body. As I said, as I'm going to say after, and as I've been saying to this campaign, I love the student body, I love this university, and I am very proud to stand up and look out for their interests.
Thank you. Next question. What distinguishes you from your opponent?
What distinguishes me from my opponent? Well, I guess the biggest thing that screams out is the fact that I've been in student government for a little over 2 years. And this experience is very important. It's one of those things about knowing how a system works. When you bring up issues, knowing that it was once tried before and why it failed and which ways you can get around trying to have it so it is a workable plan this time. And also experience comes with knowing the territory, knowing the certain people to talk to when there's a problem. If you want something fixed, this is the person you talk to. Those are all very vital to being a leader, without which you can't adequately do your job. And if you can't adequately do your job, what's the purpose of doing your job at all? Do your job 110%. That's the only way to go.
Thank you. Same question?
I would agree. I would say experience is the primary difference, and I believe that is my strongest characteristic. Coming into Senate, I have made no bonds with Senate. Everything that has happened there, the direction of where Senate sits, I am an observer, not a cause to where the problems are at this very moment. I believe that from my position, I know different people than is already established within Senate and can bring new ideas and new people into the game. And that is what I feel is the most important.
Time. Thank you. Would you like a rebuttal?
Oh, sir, certainly. Yes, but certainly at the same time, the Senate remains the same. And you can't force the Senate to do something. If they're not going to do it now, they're not going to do it when we elect a new vice president. But the initiative that leaders can take can definitely be different. And when you have experience into that mixture, it helps substantially.
Thank you. All right, next question. What do you have in common with your opponent?
I think, first off, we're both pretty good-looking guys. I think, and secondly, I think we're both very, very opinionated and fired up about our cause. I think that we're both the type of guys that would lie in front of a train in order to get our message across and would stop at nothing to see that the goals that we set for ourselves and our committees or student government are reached.
Thank you. Same question?
I think we are rather attractive. At the same time, I also think, I think we love this organization. We love what it can do. But at the same time, it goes higher than that. We love this university. We love the students here. We love everything about it. And that is what drives a leader to represent the best interests of his students, is a deep down love for things. And I think both Senator Rankin and I have that in common.
Thank you. Okay, looking at the three gentlemen that are running for president, how do you feel about working with any one of the three, given them potentially winning?
I know all three gentlemen very well. Worked with current president of IFC, Pomerleau, and Vice President Derek Mitchell for the last 2 years that I've been in student government. But I also know Priyanth as on a more personal, friendly level, because he lives not too far away from me. And all three of them I feel could do a very good job. I am personally running on a ticket with Derek Mitchell, so my vote goes for him. I do think he could do quite a bit better job merely for the time he's been in student government and the willpower he has. But at the same time, all three gentlemen who are running for president I think could do an excellent job.
Thank you. Same question?
I think all three gentlemen are upstanding guys. I think that they all are committed to the university, and I think that they all are great leaders and have great ideas. I'd be content and I'd be privileged to work with any three of the gentlemen, and if elected, look forward to doing such.
Thank you. How would your experience as a senator help you as vice president?
I think that that's more along the lines, how would my experience as not a senator would help me be president of the Senate? I think because I have not been a senator for a number of years, that I'm coming into it with the ideas outside of Senate, outside of what has become the monotony of really not succeeding for the students. I think that is very important, and so therefore that is my strong feeling on that issue.
Thank you. Same question?
Yes, experience in the Senate is something that is a matter of choice. You can do very little with it or you can do a lot with it. One senator doesn't have a lot of power, but if that one senator talks to the right people, knows the right information, he can influence a lot of people. And I think that my experience as the senator for the last 2 years will help me a lot in my leadership. I'm currently now in a leadership position. And I even when I wasn't as president pro tem, I was still going out and talking to people when I felt that they weren't serving the student body adequately. I was even beyond this campus, going to the town council, as I said, going to the state legislature to lobby for people like us to be able to run for the state house in Augusta. Anything like that.
Thank you. I think we're going to wrap up with this last question, and it will go to you, Bill, first. Why should the general student body vote for the other candidate over you?
That's a very interesting question. They shouldn't. I think Sean Rankin is a very compassionate person, and he dearly loves Umaine. So I think at best they would have a difficult decision because that's what you want. You want a dedicated person who loves being in a leadership role to represent the people that they love. So if at best I think it would be a difficult decision.
Mr. Rankin, same question.
It's a hard question.
I think that, that the student body needs to vote for the person that satisfies their needs. I think Bill satisfies the needs of a different type of student than I do. And I think that student needs to vote for Bill because they need to do what they have to do for themselves. Thank you.
Definitely. All right, we'll now move into the closing statements. You'll each have 2 minutes, starting with Mr. Rankin.
First off, I'd like to thank everybody for coming tonight. I had a blast, I had a ball, and it's been fun. I'm running for vice president of the student body, and truly my interests lie in the hearts of the students of Umaine, because I am a student of Umaine and we share the same opinions and same interests. I feel that Senate has lost its compass. And I feel that the compass is the student body. I feel that the leaders have unused a lot of power that has the ability to inflict change on this university. And I think that the students of Umaine deserve a better leader. Don't get me wrong, Senate does a lot of great things. And there are a lot of great people who are working hard for you. But very few students know this. The Senate body needs to begin to work on a new level, on a higher level, on a level that utilizes its potential and serves the students better. This change can only happen by electing a new type of leader, one that has not played a primary role in the current development of Senate. I want to lead Senate in this direction. I have every intention on fighting week after week for our interests as students, not just in Senate, but in local and state legislation bodies. On December 4th, I am asking for your vote. On December 4th, I am asking for the opportunity to fight for Umaine. On December 4th, I'm asking for the chance to fight for you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Again, thanks to everyone for coming. I can promise every student on this campus everything they want. I can tell you everything that's wrong with our community and everything that's right with our community. But it all comes down to this. How do you propose to fix the problems? My platform has 2 planks, external and internal. The parking plan we propose, where students have a say in campus beautification funded by their own parking tickets, is a solid plan. And it will help the atmosphere of this campus, not just for us, but for everyone. Meeting with the powers to be to bring down the high prices of dining is a very attainable goal. Making professor evaluations at some level available to Umaine students to know that when your tuition increases, the quality of your education is increasing as well, is very important. It is also my personal goal to see that every student on this campus knows, sees, and respects the work that student government does. The State of the Senate addresses, State of the University addresses, meet and greets for students to meet their elected leaders, and open, direct communication with students on vital issues will make student government the flourishing organization that it once was when I first came into it. Changing policies on this campus will only work with positive relations to those who can actually change policies: administrators, faculty, deans. In my 2 years as student government, I have dealt with many of them to help and effect very positive change on this campus. I've stood up to legislators in Augusta, to our local town councilors, to defend our interests, even if I know their minds were already made up. I love this university, and I have devoted much of my college career to helping it. It takes someone with willpower and confidence to get things done, especially against adversity. And adversity has never been a deterrent for me, and I've always been willing to go the distance when defending our students' interests. On December 4th, vote in Mitchell Pomerleau. Vote for experience, and vote for a new direction. Thank you.
All right, thank you all. We're now going to take a quick break. We will be back at about 6:50 to start the presidential election. And thank you, Mr. Rankin and Mr. Pomerleau.